KURINJI Senior Secondary School, CBSE, Namakkal.
Successful result producing school in state every year.
Administered by the Board of Directors with over 35 years of experience in the teaching field.
Special attention on art, craft, music, dance, silambam, yoga, skating and karate.
Focus on Hindi Sabha and Spell Bee Olympiad exams.
Smart class for effective and innovative learning and well-furnished library.
Solitary importance on sports and games in state and national level.
WhatsApp facilities to know activities of students and school inside the campus.
Free bus for LKG to 8th standard.
Free, hygienic and nutritious food.
NEET, JEE, IIT coaching experts from Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh along with our effective teachers.
Admission registration for classes LKG to +2.
Talent cum scholarship exam will be held on 14/4/2020 and 19/4/2020.
KURINJI Educational Institutions, CBSE and State Board, Namakkal.
KURINJI Educational Institution, Kavetipatti, Namakkal. Admission in progress. CBSE, KG to 12, contact 9025895176. Metric 6 to 12, contact 9344567484. For online admission, log on to www.kurinjischoolnkl.in.
Students, now in this video we are discussing translocation of mineral ions. What is our video regarding translocation of mineral ions? Means perfectly what we will learn means how the minerals or ions, what are the mineral ions which are there in the xylem of the root, how this all will be translocated to the all parts of the plants. So we will discuss in this video. So right now after the ions have reached the xylem through the active or passive uptake or the combination of two. So means what is the point we are understanding now? So by the process of active or by the process of passive transport or sometimes two, means both, means active transport as well as passive transport, definitely both means definitely involves in the uptake of nutrients or the uptake of mineral ions into the plant body. Okay, furtherly up to there we have seen in previous video what it is uptake of the mineral nutrients. In previous video we see adi the uptake after not taking. Okay, now translocation, once the uptake is completed into the living system, from that to how these ions will be translocated. Translocated means already I told you some movement, transportation taking place from the one place to another place. So that is the point. Now there further transport up the stem to the all parts of the plants. So is through the transpiration stream. So means once the water and minerals once the minerals are there in the root systems, so later from the root system to stem and stem to aerial parts of the translocation of the food materials, everything is mainly depending on the transpiration stream. So first of all you see in uptake of water and minerals, what is the point we have seen? By the process of active transport or by the process of passive transport or by both. So uptake of water and minerals as well as mineral ions we see. Now in this video what we are seeing, once the mineral ions are reached to the xylem of the roots, so definitely these mineral ions are definitely translocated to the all parts of the plant. So by the process of transpiration. So this is a point now we are learning. Now the chief things for the mineral so from here onwards, so information is going to be like important one. Okay, now listen carefully. Chief things for the mineral elements are the growing regions. Up to here one bit neat bit it is. So chief sinks, sink meaning don't forget what we have to remember. Sink is nothing but where the plants are going to be utilize the food materials. Okay, now இப்போ பார்த்தோம் chief sinks for the mineral ions or the growing regions. So thereby what we can understand is most of the mineral ions or the mineral ions where they are going to be utilized in growing regions, okay, of the plant, as such as sir ஏதோ ஒன்று பர்டிகுலர் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கொடுங்க growing regions and what we have to understand from the plants sir means same such as the apical and lateral meristems, young leaves, developing flowers, fruits, seeds and the storage organs. So means here there are different types of plant parts so which are acting as a sink. Sink means meaning you don't forget what are the regions which consumes or what are the regions which utilize or which takes the mineral ions, no? So such particular region we are taking as a sink. Okay, next one, unloading of mineral ions. Unloading of mineral ions occurs at the fine vein endings through diffusion and active uptake by these cells. One more time, unloading. So how sir unloading? So we know very well, unloading also we know very well. Unloading of mineral ions occurs at fine vein endings, means unloading process. So it takes place at vein endings through the by the process of diffusion. So diffusion is nothing but from a higher concentration to lower concentration. So that is and active uptake by these cells. So likewise, so here by the process of diffusion and by the active uptake, by active uptake, so these cells, these mineral ions are taken by the cells or the epidermal cells which are there beside to them. Okay, next one, mineral ions are frequently remobilized. So this particular point also is important. Mineral ions which are frequently remobilized, particularly from the older regions, or senescing parts, and older dying leaves export much of their mineral contents to the young leaves. So here the 3 lines information is, so what are the minerals which are there in the plant, all the time which will move from the one place to another place. That's why suppose what is the point now we are going to discuss is here, so mineral ions which are moved or which moves frequently from the one place to another place. That's why we have used the word is remobilized particularly. So particularly from where to where we will observe the mobilization of the minerals means we will observe from the older leaves to young parts, and older dying leaves export much of their mineral contents to the younger leaves. Means so here one point we have to remember carefully, all the time the mineral ions which will be remobilized from the older regions to younger regions. Older regions to younger regions. This is the important point to try to save in your mind. Okay, next one, similarly, before leaf fall in a deciduous plants, minerals are moved to the other parts from the old leaves. So that's why once you see there before leaf fall means here one important point I will give you. Generally leaves will be in green color, but suppose if you observe the old leaves, old leaves will be in yellow color. So means sir what happens, sir, why the green leaf is turned into yellow leaf means in concentration of the minerals, if you see there, in a old leaf or yellow turned leaf or yellow color leaf, we will notice the very minute quantities or very minimum quantities of the minerals. Why? From that old leaf to all water and minerals as well as nutrients which are translocated to the other younger parts. That's why based on this point what we can remember, all the time food materials which are remobilized from the one place to another place, there all the time food materials as well as mineral ions which will be translocated from the old regions to younger regions. So இது நல்லா சேவ் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. அப்புறம் elements most readily mobilized are phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen and potassium. Means here we may get one doubt, sorry, here we are learning there are different types of mineral ions are there. And all these mineral ions which are moving from the one place to another place. Sir, can you give any example? What are the mineral ions which are mobilizing from the one place to another place? Sir, means this need bitama, try to save in your mind. What are those? No, phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen and potassium. Likewise, there are several elements. So here the chemistry point of view, we will call them as minerals. No, I mean elements. So there are different types of elements which will move from the one place to another place, one place to another place. Later, some elements, so that are structural components. So some elements that are structural components like calcium are not mobilized. Means now only what is the point we see? No, if you take some elements, no, which will be mobilized from the one place to another place, now only we see. And so there some other kind of structural components are there. Structural components means the components or the elements which are involved in the structure or making of structure. Cell wall and suppose not cell wall, middle lamellum particle. Middle lamella chemical composition is calcium and magnesium peptides. No, means there for the making of middle lamellum definitely which one is required? Calcium is required. So likewise here the calcium we will be taking as structural component. So here the calcium members will not be mobilized. Okay, don't forget, it is a very very important need bit. So here there are different types of mobilizing elements are there and non-mobilizing elements also are there. In non-mobilizing elements, the best example is calcium, which will not be moved or which will not be translocated from the one place to another place. Okay, next one, an analysis of the xylem exudates shows that through the sum of the nitrogen travels as inorganic ions, much of it is carried in the form of in the organic form as amino acids and related compounds. This is what we read now. If you take the analysis of the xylem exudates, means what are the mineral ions which are going from the one place to another place in the xylem. If you observe there, in xylem members, if you observe there, no, there generally we will observe some of the nitrogen compounds or some of the nitrogen related inorganic ions. So and much of it is carried in the organic form. So means here one point, what is the point we are getting more? No, if you take the xylem members, there inorganic ions are there as well as organic ions also, or organic chemical molecules also are there, organic compounds concerned. So nitrogen related compounds which are going to be translocated in the form of organic substances. So for example, amino acids as well as some other related compounds. Means here one point you try to save blindly, that is in xylem members, if you see there are two different types of chemical molecules, means inorganic ions as well as organic ions or organic form of elements or the compounds also which are translocated through the xylem. Similarly, small amounts of phosphate as well as potassium as well as phosphate only, no, okay, potassium as well as sulfur are carried as organic compounds. Okay, means here P and S means the phosphorus as well as sulfur as carried as organic compound. Later, next one, in addition, small amounts of exchange of materials does takes place between the xylem and phloem. So here this is a point also we can highlight it more. Means suppose if minerals which are going to be taken place from the one place to another place, sir, is there any changes or is there any chances for the exchanging of the minerals or the materials between the xylem and phloem? So we may get one doubt. Now based on this point, what we can say? No, yes, we can say. Why? Because so what are the materials are they? So some kind of materials which will be translocated or which will be exchanged between the xylem as well as phloem. Hence it is not that we can clearly make a distinction and say categorically that the xylem transport only inorganic nutrients. Means generally what we have believed is, we believed that, so if you take xylem members, earlier information concerned, earlierly what we have believed is, earlierly xylem members, it control or it transports only inorganic nutrients. Earlierly means our ancestors time ago, what our ancestors have been had been believed means, xylem if you take there, no, it transports only inorganic nutrients, they believed. Likewise, suppose if you take a phloem means they transport only organic materials, that they traditionally we believed that time. But when we have studied the perfect information about the xylem and phloem members, now chemical analysis which gives information, so it is not correct. Organic elements as well as inorganic elements or the ions which are transports in xylem as well as a phloem. Okay, so that is a point now in this video we are highlighting. Later let us start to discuss the information of phloem transport. Okay, phloem transport, there phloem or flow from source to sink. Flow from source to sink. So in this particular case, no, what is the point? Mainly flow from source to sink means here what is the point? No, what are the food materials are there which are always flow from the source to sink? Means here suppose if you take a plant, here the source we can be taken as a leaf, and a sink where the food materials are going to be utilized we can be taken. Okay, now here even this one also important, listen carefully. Food, primarily sucrose, is transported by the vascular tissue phloem. So now food is there, in a kind of food. Suppose if you take leaf, in the leaf we will see starch. So later it will be before it is moving into the phloem members, no, it is like it changes its shape or it changes into the sucrose. First of all it is a starch is there, later it is converted into glucose, later it is converted into the sucrose. The sucrose is a transport form, means what are the food materials which are there in the leaves, no, at any cost that must be converted into sucrose, then only it will be translocated or transported from the one place to another place. Okay, so that's why here what is the point here we have written, the food or the particularly sucrose is transported by the vascular tissue phloem from the source to sink. Now usually the source is understood to be that part of the plant which synthesizes the food, that is a leaf. Now the source is nothing but leaf, where the process of photosynthesis takes place, or where the food materials are going to be synthesized, we can be taken as a source. Okay, next one, and the sink. Sir, sink means what, sir? Means the part that needs or the stores food. That needs or either it stores. Anyone we can be taken as a source. Means in this video what we are discussing, source is nothing but preparation of the photosynthesis process. Where the process of photosynthesis takes place, that particular part we are taking as a source. Means for example concern, leaf is the source, and the sink is nothing but where the food materials are going to be utilized, means needs, or where the food materials are going to be stored, we will be taking as a sink. Now sir, sometimes sir all the time leaf will be the source, sir, means no, some exceptions are there, so depending on this season, so I'll give that point later, I'll conclude that now. So but the source and the sink may be reversed depending on the season or the plant needs. So means sometimes or the based on the seasonal variations. So that particular sink that will be converted into the source, and the source that will be converted into the sink depending on the seasonal variations. Means here what is the point now I am going to give you is, source will not be the source all the time, and the sink will not be the sink all the time. Depending on the seasonal variations, chance is there to change their functional activities. So that is a point I can give you. Okay, so means in this video what is the point now we have discussed is translocation of mineral ions we have discussed, and once the food materials which are translocated to the all parts of the plants from the older regions, so at the time how they will be utilized. So that one we have seen. Later phloem transport point of view, two important points we have seen. One is source and one more is sink. Source is nothing but where the food materials are present, source, and the sink where the food materials are going to be utilized or stored. So that is his sink. So this is a very important video as well as very easy video. So try to watch this video and gain the knowledge and be safe at home. Thank you.